I tell people to question their beliefs and whether you are staying in that belief just because you got used to it or it's the conclusion that you came up after countless thoughts that you had with yourself, but also being kind of certain about the fact that it will, thinking about yourself and pondering about these kind of ideas will always result in their favors, let's say, in their own individual's favor. I said, sit with your uncertainty. It should be a virtue, and I mean, it is a virtue, and everyone should be pursuing it. But I also am certain that sitting with uncertainty is a virtue, which contradicts itself. Also, same goes with life routines and sleep maxing kind of things. I prioritize and present myself as someone who really understands about sleep, especially, and talked several times in my YouTube channel about how important sleep is. But um, I usually record my videos nowadays when I don't go to the gym, which is like Sunday. So like Saturday to Sunday, I sleep at like around 4 to even sometimes 6 a.m. So which means that if I didn't have gym, I would have slept 6 a.m., 3 a.m. every single day. So the reason why I'm calling out my own mistakes isn't to kind of pity party and like telling you guys that I also make mistake, or like I don't know, the kind of things that many YouTubers do to kind of um downplay the downplay the their faults and flaws by calling them out first. But I'm on the side more like I think I'm more in more of a kind of addicted to calling out myself. Criticizing yourself is very addicting and obviously is very dangerous. And I figured it out while criticizing myself and overly, yeah, using overly verbose words when I'm describing myself. Found this out while I was writing about myself, describing what my thoughts are and how my what I usually say in my YouTube videos and what I actually act on contradicts what I say, what I believe. So, but al- but but also at the same time, I'm overly criticizing myself, and it gives a kind of pleasure. It gives a pleasure to you as well when you're criticizing yourself because you call out before anyone else, obviously, because it's you. You saw it, you felt it, so you call it out, and you criticize yourself, and you kind of feel this pleasure that you at least know you at least are aware of your own mistakes and problems. So you are no longer the kind of person who will make the problem, or also at the same time you kind of justify it. Now that I am this kind of person who knows about himself and I'm aware that I make this kind of mistakes and I call them out, I'm man enough to, admit it, the kind of things, and end up not really much changing anything, until I actually feel the need to change. Same goes for thinking or any kind of sitting with your thoughts kind of things. I don't think I've ever actually thought of the consequences that it will bring to someone who's never been aware or trying to be conscious about his ideologies and what he usually thinks about. Just like I wouldn't recommend my life to my own children in the future. I mean, I would in a sense, but also like if I actually had children, this is a kind of analogy that I use very frequently lately because of how much I can see myself through it after questioning this. Like, would I want it if I had my children? What would I do if I had my children? You know, you just ask that one line at the end, and your brain starts to you feel it, you feel it the moment exact moment where that like your brain starts to think differently. And I like that. I liked that I figured it out before anyone calling me out for that. So so just like I talked about in I mean I talk about religion in many of my videos, but in one of the videos I think I talked about how religion can be very useful and one of the kind of easiest way to teach children about basic moralities and dogmas, and having like giving them this kind of pillar in their mind in their very early age for the comfort might sound very kind of not a good parent in my opinion. I mean, trying to brainwash a child, even knowing, you know, the fact that it's not going to work if they become conscious one day, or you don't even believe it in the first place. So one forcing your children to not like let alone forcing, that's even worse since you can't even believe it, but you want your children to be benign and kind of stupid in a sense. So yeah, it shows different side of me whenever I ask that whenever I ask that, add that line, that phrase into any kind of thinkings, like what I want my life, I mean what I want my children to go through, the kind of life that I'm going through. It's very frustrating and annoying. Sometimes you just have to like go, I don't know, like just talk to yourself for hours even to even say that you had enough of thoughts, you know, you organize your thoughts enough so that you can sleep now. But at the end, like it doesn't end up that way. It doesn't go that well always. So yeah, that's the topic about today. But criticizing is very addicting, and being ruthless on yourself might seem virtuous. You might feel the short term relief that, yes, I'm the kind of person who calls myself out and I'm different. But at the end, if you don't actually change, then it's even worse since you're taking into actions even after knowing that the kind, knowing that knowing what causes the problems.